Incinerator is dumb as fuck. This string has like infinite utility, but I'm still experimenting a lot with. You know, in the bathroom I'm experimenting, and I'm nude while I'm experimenting, and I have a cucumber and carrots. Why did I share that with everyone? What's up, guys? TheMainManSWE here, or TheMainManSWE. Hope you're all doing awesome as always. So I got another question from my lovely, sexy viewers. Do you have some tips for intermediate Bryan mains? And I sure do. I've been rethinking his neutral a little bit, and maybe it can help you as well. So, you probably know that Requiem is pretty good. Keeping it real, this move is overpowered. Problem with Requiem is that it's an infinity range mid heat engager. This move is insane, so I think it's gonna get nerfed. But what I'm trying to give you in terms of advice is that lately, rather than doing this, you know how every Bryan does that? Like, oh, you block? If you don't duck, right? You just pressure with this, and then you mix with that, should they duck, and there's almost nothing they can do about it. Lately, I've tried to construct the very basic cornerstone of my neutral, actually not around those two attacks, but I start with down 4. Down 4 is actually overpowered. It is stronger than Hatchet. Down 4 has no execution, is what? 15 frame startup, and look at the reach. And best of all, it's pretty much homing. So, when I check people now in the neutral, my cornerstone is this 50-50. So, I check with down 4 and Requiem, and they can't step this shit. And they can't really backdash it either because it's so much reach. So I 50-50 with that, right? And then with those two, I keep them on their toes. And then as a third option, I use Core Circle back 1. This is when I think, are you gonna try and interrupt my 50-50? So I bully with these. Bully. And if I think he might press or interrupt, I'll use that instead. If it counter hits, they die. If it knocks down, we do that, right? This sounds super basic, but this has really helped my neutral. If I feel he might really try and go in on me and pressure, a safer option than Core Circle back 1, in case I want to be as risk-free as possible, I tap up 4. So I do an orbital, not the advancing aggro orbital, which is up forward 4. I do up 4, which is the best orbital in the game. It's gonna hit them anyway if they attack, because they'll extend their hurt box. And it's almost impossible to whiff punish. And it's almost impossible to float Bryan. That's layer number 3 to my neutral now with Bryan. So bam, bam, bam. When I want to be as safe as possible, I do this. I just don't use 3-4 that much anymore. Because this move is significantly more risk, in my opinion, than this or this. 3-4 is quite steppable, and it's not that good on whiff. Not that good. And at -13, some characters can actually punish this on block. Unless, you know, it's a wall situation and I want to hit them with Soul Eraser. But yeah, Bryan is a little bit different in Tekken 8. Say, for example, they really start to respect you after you've done this stuff, and they really should start to respect you because these buttons are very scary. Then I go in, and now I'm at my most comfortable when they respect me and block. Now I go in and I try to use forward 3 very carefully. So again, forward 3, if they counter hits, it's basically death, right? But if they block it, even at point blank, we're neutral. So here, Bryan has actually some of the best jab strings in the game to take advantage of this neutral situation. For example, 1-1. It's a countered string. That's safe on block. At -6. Can mix with 1-3, even though that's fuzzy guardable. Most people won't fuzzy that. So 1-1, 1-3. And if you really think he's gonna mash for sure, 1-4 countered string, right? Will wall splat. Etc. 1-4 is high, high, high. If you're not sure that he's gonna mash, it's much better to do 1-1 because you're perfectly safe. And if he presses, you still get all of that for free. It's a countered string. So very powerful is forward free, 1-1. And it's very safe. Try stuff like forward free, forward free. If he actually tries a bigger swing here, he gets counter hit. And then we can get into stuff like, you can see knee, or like the best Bryan players, they do insane things with spacing. Like, you block, core circle back 1, right? And then I can get a +2 forward free. If I think you're not going to backdash, right? I can set up a +2 forward free instead. You can do some interesting stuff here with spacing. Another thing you should be doing, you're probably already doing it, but Incinerator is dumb as fuck. This string has like infinite utility, but I'm still experimenting a lot with. You know, in the bathroom I'm experimenting, and I'm nude while I'm experimenting, and I have a cucumber and carrots. Why did I share that with everyone? Just spam it, basically. That's step 1 with Incinerator if you're an intermediate Bryan. Reach heat state, do this string. Like, no matter what, you're doing well. They can't evade this string. It's impossible. If they try and do any attack, they're probably gonna get counter hits because he's flailing so fast. If they block, they take a ton of chip, as you can see. It's -10 on block, but you see the pushback. Bagoosh! No one is block punishing this. It's quite dumb, to be honest, and it's fully homing, so you can't sidestep it. So Incinerator is extremely strong. You can taunt into Incinerator. Very nice. That will wall break into combo. What I want you to do is also experiment with, for example, do the first 3 hits, and now you're only -2. Only -2! You're almost back to neutral. So a super nice thing Bryan players do right now is this on block into forward free. You'd be surprised. You would be surprised how many people block the first 3 hits and think, ah, he's certainly like -9 now, right? And they try to do a big swing attack. And then they get counter hit by forward free. And I don't blame them. Because who wouldn't think a string like this would be quite minus after doing 3 hits? Or quite minus after doing 4 hits? But he's actually only -3 here. So they think I can do a big swing, and then, oh, 1, 2, 4, and they get blown up. My favorite right now, which is also really stylish, which is something us Bryan players like, is that I'll do something like this, forward to 1-2, or like taunt. Sorry. I'm gonna save this, bagoosh. I'll do this, taunt forward to 1-2, 27 damage, +9, and they expect the full string. No one ever does anything outside of blocking after getting hit by this. So I, for free, on everyone I play against, I get this for free. I get this for free. Taunt into forward to 1-2, this, and then taunt heat smash, and it's basically guaranteed. Everyone eats it. Again, because everyone is expecting you to finish the string here. And again, it is +9. Forces crouch, +9. Very heavy frames here. So in general, intermediate Bryans, Incinerator is your friend. I would say that honestly 60% of Bryan's heat utility is Incinerator, Incinerator, Incinerator. It is just that strong. Maybe trying to set up Soul Eraser. I like doing Oki like this into Soul Eraser. It's very strong. You can do this. It's a really sick combo, and on most stages that's wall to wall. These are some advice for intermediate Bryan players. Just rethink your neutral a little bit and make sure you play to the character's strengths and, well, quite OP stuff. All of those attacks I discussed in this video were all like 10 out of 10. So make sure you get the most out of them. So hope you enjoyed this and hope you have a great day. Take care.